Okay, folks, look, I hope you're well. I seem to be doing this a lot lately. This isn't yet another apology, and it's to Zorro. Now, when I say it's an apology and it's not. I feel there's mitigating circumstances here. One of them is time constraints, and the other is volume. Let me explain. I did the scores on the doors. I think I did them this morning. I meant to do them last night, forgot all about it. Was going to do them at 1:05 when I put up the two selections from Zorro, forgot all about it. Remembered this morning when I was watching Dave the Suit, and I thought, oh, wait a minute. He had a placed horse yesterday, and I think Dave and Mickey were the only winners. I've not put it out there, so I did it this morning and apologised. I'm apologising again to Zorro this time. Now let me just give you a bit of background here and tell you why. I mean, Zorro had a winning day yesterday. I've not flagged that up this morning, but I will tell you why, and I'll tell you a story behind it. And this is as much for Zorro's ears as anybody else, because for all folks who've got conspiracy theories regarding Zorro, I've never met the fella. I've never even spoken to him on the phone. I am going to one day, and maybe one day I'll share a pint with him as he's discussed. But I've never met the guy, never spoke to him in person. What he does is alien to what I've seen before. Many don't understand it. A good few don't like it. The odd one has really embraced it and thinks he's something of a genius. I think I might be in the latter camp. I think he's very, very, very good. But as I say, because of volume of bet and time constraints, I think sometimes I'm letting myself down. I did yesterday. I didn't think he'd won. But as I say, I'm going to explain more. Somebody messaged in the comment section this morning, what happened with Zorro's bets? What happened with Zorro there? What about the profits and loss? And I messaged back, I mean, I even forgot he'd put that many bets out. And then I thought, oh, he put loads out. I didn't give Zorro's a second glance yesterday because I thought to myself, well, he's not had many winners there. And with the volume he's put out, he needs lots of winners. Although I didn't do the dig that I would do with everybody else, which is wrong of me. I know that. He also messaged me late on last night to say Old Cabinet, I think it was, the one he highlighted, came in. He said 16-1, I highlighted it, I told you it was wrong. That's the one I told was the standout to all your followers, which I told you folks. He said I couldn't believe it, you could still get tens for it. Anyway, it turned out being a 7-1 winner. I thought he never had much with that, but because some of his horses are reasonably priced, although there wasn't as much yesterday, there's always bits of returns, but I thought to myself, no, he's not had enough to make a full return, so I won't check every horse. Now, somebody said this morning, how did he do it? And I wanted to leave a message in here when I thought about it to say, look, I've said in the past to folks, for all we're on about profit and loss, and we want people to be upfront and show profit and loss, that is more than anything else for those that take our money. Those that take money, and those that when they take money, they want us in these clubs and take more and more and more and more, like your Watchmans and like your Zorros. It's difficult with somebody like Zorro to do a profit and loss. Well, he doesn't do it and doesn't have the time for it. It'd be me to do on his behalf. But I tend not to do it. I tend to look as he won. If he's won, I say he's had a winning day. If he's lost, I'll say he's had a losing day. Many of the losing days that I see for his horses aren't losing days for him, because he's perming this, that and the other, and he's doing massive amounts of perms here, there and everywhere. So more often than not, he'll lay lots on, but he'll end up winning. But I know the folk on here won't be betting as he's betting. I don't mean just to the monetary volume, I mean to actually the volume of bets. I've said to Zorro in that, well, this is the story first, then I'll go through his results, because he had a good day yesterday, and I feel gutted that I've not seen it. But let me just tell you this. Zorro said about 2 or 3 weeks ago, as you know, that he was stopping putting tips on it. I think people had got the backs up and they were moaning about him and moaning about the volume, this, that and the other. I've told you in the past, he's going to hear it, he's not going to like me saying it, but it's true. I feel he's a bit thin-skinned, and I don't mean that in a bad way. He tells me he's bet with loads of people before, and people know him in the industry, and people have a pop at him for no reason. And he said, I've got to the stage where when I'm trying to help folks to earn money, it just annoys me when people are having a go. He said, and I get people having a go a hell of a lot, but I've made lots of people lots of money. And I don't disbelieve him, I really don't. Even based on this volume in a minute, and not many placed and not many won. Because of how he does things, there was a win there. I thought, well, if he's won yesterday, he's only won because he's permed them. Not at all. If you'd have done an even stake on every horse, which many of you wouldn't have done, there was a lot of horses there, we'll go through that in a minute, you would have won, and won reasonably handsomely. I'll bet you there might be maximum 2, and I bet there's none. There might be 2 people that won money on the back of Zorro's tips yesterday. That is unless a few people bet just Cabinet of Clowns, in which case they will have won. But I don't think there'll be many people that have won if they put all those tips on. I don't at all, or pick from those tips. But more about it in a moment. So anyway, Zorro said a few weeks since he was leaving, and that was fine. And a few have come on to me and said, what's happened to him, what's happened to him? I said, well, he's not doing it anymore. Doesn't seem as though he's doing it. A couple have said he's a genius. One guy that I think has a bit of an horse race inside himself said the guy is brilliant, he's different gravy. And I thought, well, you're doing this already yourself online, so you must know something. You've seen something others haven't seen. Many are saying, how can you tip that many horses? It's just unheard of. Nobody does that. Many are saying it can't be all about ground. He's putting too much emphasis on ground. Let me tell you this, folks. He will send me tips at night time, and he's complained for weeks and weeks and weeks about ground and about the weather and about how it's constantly changing, how they've got it wrong. They'll tell you tonight what it is tomorrow, and tomorrow it's miles out. And he bases his tips on horses that really, really like good to firm, or really like good, or really like really heavy. And we're getting days where they're saying it's good weather and he's tipping good ground horses, and overnight it's going soft and even heavy, and he's saying I've no chance, and vice versa. So I get where he's coming from, but when he's giving that many tips anyway, and when folk are saying it's too many tips, the guy's a madman, he doesn't know what he's doing. Yeah, I think he does. And then he's saying the next morning, oh, they're all going to go south now, they have no chance with them because it's the wrong ground. I'm thinking, well, what can I do? You've given me all those tips. You've told me to put them on there, I have. People will be complaining, hey, some people there's too many. But if I come back on that morning and say, all the tips are going to be no good, folks, he said the ground has changed, you might have folk that I put money on that are going to be gutted. And you're going to have some saying, hey, wait a minute, he gives too many anyway, he doesn't know what he's on about. And now he's give all them tips out, and the next morning he's saying they're not going to win. What's the guy all about? So he'd not give us tips for 3 or 4 days, and I did it. I'm telling you the truth here, there's only me and him knows this story. After 3 or 4 days, I'd not had any tips. And I, folks, even myself, could do with a few quid. I'm not rolling in it by any means. And I myself have faith in the guy. I think he's good. I really think he's good. And I only bet Saturdays. I don't have the time in the week. I mean, you've seen the video last night, 1:05. I'm up till 1:05 doing videos, folks, when I remember things, because I'm here, there and everywhere with my other half, with my kids, with my grandkids, with my work life, with this YouTube and everything else, and the current ongoings with Sandra or whatever. It's taken up forever, but I like it. I'll keep doing it. I'm not no bleeding out. I don't want any sympathy or any pats on the back. I like doing what I do, but it's lots and lots and lots of hours. And sometimes, because of my age as well, I forget things, like forgetting to put the screws on the doors up last night, and so on and so forth. But anyway, I messaged Zorro about, just for his last lot of tips come back on, say a week ago, 10 days ago, because I'd had a thought. I said, Zorro, do me a favour. You don't have to do this, you can say no to it, I won't be offended. Do me a favour. Send me the tips that you pick on a daily basis. Send them me on a Friday night for Saturday's racing. Just for Saturday, not in the week, just for Saturday. It's the only day I can really bet. You've said on here on a few occasions, you've said it in your emails and I've wrote it out, you're trying to educate people how to bet and trying to help them make money. I say, you say you're trying to educate people how to bet, but you've never shown them how you put your bets on. You've got millions of horses there, maybe 30 or 40. I mean, the other day, he had a winner in a second. That's the forecast. Many wouldn't have done forecasts because I think it was the day he gave 44 horses. They're not going to bet all singles, all doubles, all trebles and forecast. They'd be betting 200-300 bets. I said, make it manageable. You can give 5 horses or 10 or 15 or even 20 horses. Tell me how you would bet them. And what I'll do, only on a Saturday, every Saturday for 4 weeks, I'll put those bets on myself. I'm not even going to put them on the channel. By the way, folks, I'm not trying to make it so you folks don't earn money and I do, although I could do with it in a few quid. I was going to put either 1 or 200 quid aside, and I was going to bet week 1 on the Saturday with all the horses he put up, and I wanted him to tell me how he would stake everything. I would put less stakes on. He's telling me he's putting hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pounds on. Hundreds of pounds. Don't know how he's getting it on, but this is what he's telling me. And he said he's involved in some things with a professional gambler who's very, very well known. I'm not going to mention any names. That's his business. He wouldn't want me to tell you. But I believe him. I really believe him. But I thought, what I'll do, I'll get bets of him for 4 weeks. Now, if week 1, they all fell over and went down, I probably wouldn't be able to do it week 2. I wouldn't have the money. But week 2, I'd do it as though I was putting them all on. Same with week 3, same with week 4, and I'd work out what I would have won and lost weeks 2, 3, and 4, as well as week 1. If I won on week 1, and I was only say putting £100 on, if I won 300 or 400 quid week 1, I might have put £200 on week 2, and so on and so forth. But I'd have put a bigger stake on, but I'd have worked it to that stake. And what I wanted to do was hopefully win a few quid, but that wasn't what it was about. I wanted to do 4 weeks. I can only really get bets on a Saturday because I just don't have time in the week to put them on, to follow them. I only really watch racing on a Saturday now, unless it's a big meeting. Newmarket the other week I watched the 3 days, but I tend to only do Saturdays. And I thought, what I'll do a deep dig, if you like, a bit like Pegasus has done with Sandro, for 4 Saturdays on the bounce. I'll keep records. I'll work out how many horses he gave me, how many placed, how many won, the staking plan of what I put on and how I did them, and whether I came out in front or behind and how it worked out, and I do that over 4 weeks. That way, every time going forward, if he started to put horses on the site again for other people, when people are saying in the comment section, the guy's an idiot, the guy doesn't know what he's on about, the guy's full of crap, he's betting too many horses, that he's moaning at the ground, this, that and the other, I could say, wait a minute, you're wrong. For 4 weeks he gave me his tips, loads each weekend, I bet him on the Saturdays only, and this is what I won, this is how it worked out. Anyway, I messaged him that message on, say, a Thursday, he never got back on a Friday. I thought maybe he's going to send something on Friday night for Saturday, nothing came through. Then about the following Monday or Tuesday, he put some tips in an email for me, and I thought, are they for me to bet? Are they for me to put on the site? I didn't know what to do because he'd not put in the message what to do. But I already decided I didn't have a chance to bet on the Monday or Tuesday. I say I had too much on with work and everything else. I didn't have the time to go looking at prices. And I've seen it as well at the morning time rather than the previous night when he put them on. So all the odds will have changed anyway. So I couldn't do it, and I left a day or so, and I said, and he sent some more the second day, because I think that first day, I think they went down, or that there wasn't a win overall. And I said, what did you send them for? He said, to put on the site. I said, but you'd not told me that. The first lot I missed anyway, but I'll put these on the site. I said, but I would have hoped you would have sent them on the Friday night for the Saturdays I'd asked, and I wanted to do something to be able to show the followers of the channel how well you'd done over 4 weeks. Now, before he sent me a message back, a reply, I knew one of the things he was going to say, because it came to me after me asking him to do Friday nights. He said, one of the things he said, I hate Saturday racing. He said, yes, it's when everybody punts. Yes, they do. Yes, it's a better class of horse. He said, but with better class of horses in better races, the bookmakers have it nearer to what it should be, the odds. You can still find some ricks, but not as many. He said, but the thing is, there's loads and loads and loads of tipsters, many of them professional, some of them semi-professional, some of them amateur. There's many tipsters, he says, like you have on your site. He said, look at how many times, he said, I'll put a horse up, and you might have 10 people putting bets up on your site who do it on YouTube, and 3 of them will pick the same horse, because they know what they're looking for. He said, where I make my money is in the bread and butter racing midweek, the crappy racing. He said, the meetings I love, the time of year I love, he said, is October. I can't wait for October, November. For 4 months then, he said, all you're getting, because of the it's winter time and daylight hours, it's often 3 meetings a day, and often it's on the all-weather. He said, the bookies are crap on the all-weather. They crap at odds and getting the right odds, and that's where you find the ricks. That's where you find they've made mistakes. He said, I do a lot less studying, a lot less hours, because I'm not going to do 6, 7, 8 meetings a day, I'm doing 3. Sometimes I can have it done in 3 hours, and I can find all the holes. He said, and I do better in that 4-month period than any time of the year. I love it. Other people don't look at it. He said, but I love it. He said, and I actually even spend some time with family members. He said, I can relax a little bit. At the moment, I just don't relax. I'm constantly going through horses, meetings, which is why he churns out so much stuff. So my idea, folks, was for 4 Fridays, he would send me stuff on a Friday night to put on a Friday night for Saturdays. And if he messaged me on the Saturday morning and said to me, Grumpy, I'm really sorry, but the ground's changed here and there, I'm not expecting anything, well then I would factor that into what I told you folks after 4 weeks. I would say that day, even before they ran, he said, what he'd picked the night before, don't have as much faith in as you should have, because everything is wrong based on ground. And I would factor that in. That's what I wanted him to do, and I wanted to be able to say to all of you folk, he is as good as I think he is. But he didn't do it, he didn't want to do it, he didn't tell me why. I never got a message off him when I first messaged him on the Thursday. He never messaged me back, never messaged on the Friday. Nothing came through on the Saturday, and I thought, well, he's not going to give any more tips to the channel. Then as I say, about 3 days later, he just sent some through without any warning. So that's where we were at. But I wanted to do that to be able to tell you that he's as good as I think he is, and as a couple on here do. Based on that, let me tell you the figures from yesterday, because I know it's been a long time, 15 minutes, but this isn't, again, I keep saying this isn't to earn any money or to keep you on here, but you need to know the background behind everything. And I'm always honest, folks, and I'm always upfront, and I don't give you any bull or any lies. And if anybody feels I've done wrong by saying to him, send me tips for 4 weeks and I won't put them on there, I don't think I have. I'm not doing it so I win and you don't, because I might have been putting my money on and losing. I might have lost for 4 weeks, but I was prepared to do it. I wanted to do it so as I could be able to stand up in front of you all, and anytime anyone says this guy is crap and he doesn't know what he's doing, I can say, well, I'm telling you now, I followed his tips for 4 weeks, but he gave me a staking plan. I mean, in all honesty, he says he wants to educate folk and blah, 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 blah. Well, I mean, on the Monday he gave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 horses. So it's not his 44, but it's halfway there, exactly. Well, nearly halfway there. And I didn't think there was many winners there. And the prices weren't big like they normally are. I mean, there's a 10 to 1 there, 10 to 1, a 14 to 1, which is cabinet that went out to 16s and came in, 11 to 1, a 25 to 1, that's it. Whereas often he has lots of horses over 10 to 1, there's only like 4 or 5 there. He didn't have that many ones, I didn't think, and I just thought to myself, well, he's not been in front. I thought when he said he'd been in front, it's because he's done multiples, and he will have done multiples, he'll have won more than I'm going to tell you. But if everybody had got these prices, which again I know you wouldn't always get them, because of when he puts them up and when I tell you them and when you can and can't get on, but if based on the prices he gave, you would have been in front, and I'll go through that now with you, because I've just spent 20 minutes online seeing where they all came, and I was shocked to see he won. I really, really was. So apologies to Zorro, but I just wish over 1, 2 or 3 days when he's given all these horses, if he decides to carry on, and I hope he does, I hope he offers a staking plan for folks to see how you do it. Not the amount he would put on, because some of our folks can do it in pennies rather than in pounds, but how we would bet these horses, because it's all right saying I'm doing it because I want to educate folks, help them win and educate them. Well, how can you educate anyone if you're not telling them how you're doing it? The only other way people can do things is they can do, as I've said to them, pick 3 or 4 out of all of these and put an each way lucky 15 on, and maybe 3 out of another and put an each way treble on. But then to win or to win well, they've just got to hope they hit on some of the winners in the same bets. It's hard to ask with 21, 22 horses for everyone to do everything each way, then to do doubles, then to do trebles, then to do yanks and what. It's difficult that, because they're going to be putting so many bets on. You're doing forecasts as well. It's just a lot of stuff. But that said, if you can tell folks how you would do these horses on your staking plan, say you gave these today for tomorrow, and this is how I'm going to do these, folks. Well, so our people can just pick a couple of bets that you're going to put on and do the same and work it from there. But anyway, he gave 21 horses, or whatever it may have been. This is what he had. I did it. I've worked it out to £1 to 1 point. £1 for everything that I think he would have done to win. And rather than 50 pence each way, £1 each way. I've done everything to a point. So £1 win or £1 each way. Now, many would say if you're doing £1 win, you do 50 pence each way. In which case, you wouldn't have been up front, or not that much up front, I wouldn't have thought. But I've done it £1 win, £1 each way. Right, so what he had here, he had 11 to 2 placed. He had a 6 to 1 placed, and he had a 25 to 1 placed, which obviously is good, 25 to 1. So he's only had 3 placed out of 21 horses. Was it 21? I think it was 21. But he's had 5 winners. Now, the 5 winners weren't great odds, apart from the 1 horse, the 16 to 1. He thinks he'd had 2 at 9 to 2. He definitely only had 1 at 9 to 2 when it was advised, or when it SP'd, because I've took the biggest price, because that's what everybody does. Not saying I agree with it. Flat Cap Callum doesn't do it that way, but I think absolutely everybody else does. The snakeholders do it that way. I don't agree with it, because they're inflating what they win in to get more people on board. But even the people we trust in do it that way. So if the people we trust in do it that way, I can only do it the same way for Zorro. It's only fair. He had a 7 to 2 winner, a 16 to 1 winner, a 2 to 1 winner, a 7 to 2 winner, and a 9 to 2 winner. I've done no doubles, no trebles, no forecast, no nothing. As it turns out, he never had a first and second in any of these races. I don't believe, I'm pretty certain he never. But I got it as 39 points on, based on those prices, 55.7 points return, which is what? 16.7 points up. That's not bad going that on one day. That's not bad going at all. When we've got a fella who wears a woolly hat from time to time, alright, he's only wore it once, saying he's 100 points up, but that's over sort of 7 months. For your money to do 15 or 16 in a day is decent going there. So for those that say you can't do it, I mean, there's 21 horses and he's up. For the guy that asked me this morning in the comment section, is there a profit and loss? And I said there'd be a loss. I was wrong, I'm sorry. He's up. What I will say is the 16 to 1 winner, which was Cabernet, he gave it me at 14s. Then he sent a second email to say it was 16s with somebody else. I bet it was 365. He says the day after, which was last night after it won, you could freely get 10s not long before the race. It went off at 7s. Now, if you're only getting 7s as opposed to 16s, you're still in front, but that profit is shrinking a hell of a lot. And you've got to realise nearly everything is given there. I think everything came in. I say I've done the 7 to 2, 16 to 1, 2 to 1, 7 to 2, 9 to 2, based on prices he gave. Everything got bet in. So he's right in what he says. He's giving value prices. But most of our folk are working things on the prices they're giving you. Or, well, they're working on the bigger SP. So I've done the same there. It's only fair. But based on every single horse, 39 points on, 55.7 back. That included, I think, 1 or 2 non-runners, which I returned the money for on those as well. So I think, folks, that isn't bad. In fact, I've made a mistake. I think it's 57.7, because I think one of the non-runners, there was only one non-runner in fact, I think the non-runner, I did a pound each way on that, so there'd be 2 points back. I think it's 39 on, 57.7 back, which ain't bad at all. So apologies there, but also, can you see, Zorro, why I wanted to do it the way I wanted to do it for that 4-week period? Maybe you can, maybe you can't. And I did say, look, Zorro, you don't have to do it for me. I can make money if it works for 4 weeks, but you owe me nothing. You know, I mean, I've got no right to ask for free tips and ask for somebody to make money for me, because that's what it would have been if we'd have done it for 4 weeks and I'd have won. I'm making money on the back of you. But you say you want to help folk, you want to help people win, you don't want anything for it, and you want to educate. You'd have been doing all those 3 things for me. You'd have made me win money, you'd have helped me win money, and you'd just show me how you do it. And from there, I then could have gone onto my channel when you were started to give tips again, and every single time people call you, I can defend you to the hills, and I can say, well, I did 4 weeks with him, 4 Saturdays, and this is what I won over 4 Saturdays, based on a staking plan that he put up for me. And I know it's a bit of extra money, they're doing a staking plan as well, but then again, I could have just done it this way. I could have done £1 on every horse and £1 each way on every horse. You've just proved there with 21 horses what you can do, and there was only one big prize winner there. And more often than not, you put bigger prices up than that. So even if they're not winning, you're going to get more returns on your each ways than you did yesterday, because there was only one big price each way there. But anyway, I've rambled on. I've rambled on enough. I'm hoping Anyway, I'll close it down. I do apologise. That's what I want to get back to. I should have done. He won yesterday. I genuinely did not realise he did. And it's just down to the volume of horses he gave me and time constraints on my part. I won't make the same mistake again.